I'm Bo Timken, Master Sake Sommelier. In this segment, we're talking about Ginjo Sake, the category. A lot of times people will come to me and say, hey, can I cook with my Ginjo Sake, or my Jumai, or my Dai Ginjo? Now, what I like to say is cooking with sake is a good idea, but cooking with a premium sake is pretty much a bad idea. You're not enhancing the flavor by adding the better brew. In fact, it would be absolutely sort of the opposite, specifically for Ginjo and Dai Ginjo sake. I just don't recommend it at all because you're basically wasting a good sake to kind of get the hints of rice and water in whatever dish you're trying to do. Now, there are different cooking sakes out there, one being called mirin, which is a very sweet, very fat, very bulky sake. I've had great success in cooking with Hanjozo sake, which is kind of ricey, and it's the Jumai, so quote-unquote, category, but it has distilled alcohol added to it. So I enjoy that. In a book that I wrote, we do a recipe, sake steamed clams. So when you think of cooking with wine, just overlay that with cooking with sake. It has the far same principles, stands up to heat as well. And if you want a different flavor than kind of like a fruit flavor, a grape flavor, if you want kind of a starchy embellishment, then I would recommend cooking with a sake. But don't throw a higher priced brew at it. It's just not worth it. Now, that said, if you've had a bottle that's been in your refrigerator open for 9 months and you think it's a little bit grotty, then go ahead and cook with that. I'm sure great flavor components will come out of it. In Japan, when you polish sake, when you mill the rice, when you press it at the end, there's something called kasu that comes out, sake kasu. This kasu is the pressed unfermented rice particles. And what they do is they'll make soup stocks out of that, by all means, and it's great. You could cook it and braise it, and it's really tasty. That said, when you mill rice, when you polish rice, specifically Ginjo and Dai Ginjo rice, when you're removing 40%, what do you do with that? Well, you leave that, you take that stuff and you give it to confectionaries to make pastries out of, or picklers and they ferment with it, or even the lower grade stuff that you can give to pig farmers and they feed the pigs with it. My point is, if you're going to cook with sake, don't cook with a high-priced Ginjo unless you know it's off.